Hey, my name is Henrik and I'm going to show you how to make your own content and level for our game They Love You. I'll be working in Unity and in order to follow along with this tutorial you need to have a little bit of experience with Unity, but nothing beyond actually just knowing what the different windows in the programs are. I also will be using Photoshop in the tutorial, and you will require to have some experience there as well. It's worth mentioning here that Paul, the programmer for the project, had never used Unity before the weekend where we actually sat down and made this game. And that says a little bit about how approachable Unity actually can be. And this despite the fact that it looks a bit intimidating as you open it up for the first time. Alright, let's see what we're up to here. Okay, so this project, They Love You, is a really tiny project, and that is in terms of the development time put into it and the amount of assets available in the game. The game is running only around 400 lines of code, and it only uses a handful of images. But despite the fact that the project is really tiny, it's really easy to create content for it. The game has about 17 levels, and it's really easy once you follow these steps to make it twice as big, only within about an hour's work or so. Alright, let's get some water. Okay, so if you open up Unity or the project for the first time, you want to open up the scene game here. I've already opened it up, but you double click here to open it up. You also want to set the viewport here to run the custom size which we've set the game to run in, which is 512 by 544. And yeah, you do this from the drop down box over here. Alright, let's go straight on to making some levels. So we open up the levels folder here in the project window and we select the first level, level 1. Alright, the thing that's going on here is actually all the properties that we set to the level itself. Level 1 is going to use a map called intro level. The player size in the level is going to be 8. The player speed is going to be 80. The monster size is going to be 20. The monster speed is going to be 30. Okay, let's hit the play button and see what that looks like. Alright, here we go. I think the video capturing software might create some distortion here, so it might be flickering a bit, but let's just ignore that. So the player with the size value of 8 looks like this, and with a speed value set to 80 runs in this speed. Right, so I want to change that value. I want to make our player a bit bigger. So in the inspector window, we're going to change his size from 8 to 32. We hit enter, we return to the game window, and we hit R to restart the level. And there we go. The player is grown up and much bigger. I am also going to change the monster size of the level to be a bit bigger. Let's give them, say, a value of 40. And let's hit restart again, which is the R key. And now we have big monsters in the level. These constants here and the map is set on a level basis. So if we select the second level here in the project window, we see that the monster speed in the second level is set to 50. In the first level it was 30. So that's a way of kind of increasing the difficulty or in the sequence which the player needs to play through. Let's see what we're up to here. Stage, okay, cool. Now this level here, this is the first level of the game, and it serves on good purpose in terms of that there's nothing that can go wrong here really. The player learns a few things about the properties of the enemies, and then they proceed to the second level. But for the example's sake, I'm going to make this level a bit more challenging. And to increase the challenge of this level, I need to set the enemies free. So we need to make some changes to the map. To do that, we're going to select the map in the inspector window and just click on it. That will open up the maps folder and highlight the level here. Let's do that again. There we go. Cool. The map is actually a tiny image. It's a 16 by 16 pixel sized image. And to make changes to the map, all we need to do is paint this level differently. So I'm going to open this level up in Photoshop, and now it started raining. That's Melbourne for you. It was sunny literally 2 minutes ago. Okay, alright. So we open up the level in Photoshop and we see the tiny image here. I'm gonna zoom in on this here a bit. And as you can see, it's very similar to the level we just played. I'm going to switch back to the game here, just to compare. Yeah, it's the same. Okay, so the way it works is that the game reads the pixel data of this image. What happens is that the game sees a white pixel and it creates a wall. If the game sees a green pixel, it creates a player. If the game sees a red pixel, it creates a monster, and if it sees a blue pixel, it creates a goal. So we want to punch some hole in the wall here. To do that, we need to paint this white pixels black. To work with the pixel graphics, you want to set the brush to be a pencil, and instead of using the normal brush prefabs here, you want to change that to be square brushes. Okay, let's paint some black pixels here. Like that. Now their enemies are free to run out, and I'm going to hit Command Save just to save this. There we go. Now let's return back to the game and hit R to restart the level. Sorry. And as you can see, the enemies are free to run out and trap you. This is all you actually need to know to make your own levels in the game. All the levels that are currently in the game has been made this exact way. In the second part of this video, I'm going to teach you some other useful little tricks in order to make the process of making levels a bit easier, and also how to make a level sequence. Alright, so in the last tutorial we went through how to create your own levels, and like I said then, you actually have all the information you need to create all the content that you see in the game so far. There's a few good tricks though, and principles that you do want to keep in mind. Number one is that you want to work with duplicates. When you start making a new level, you want to make a duplicate of a previous level. And there's a few good reasons for this. Okay, so to do this, you're going to select level 1 here, for example, and just hit Command D, Control D if you're on a Windows machine, and Unity automatically adds that to the end of the list, and it even wrote out level 18 for us. And hey Dave, and yes, so it wrote out level 18 for us because it can recognize the numbering sequence here. Alright, so, and besides that, we also want to make a duplicate of the level itself. You select intro level 1 here, hit Command D again, and we're going to rename this one to concept. Concept. That didn't work. Concept. Oh, it's already concept level from a previous one. So I've done a few attempts at doing the video tutorial. Concept. Alright, there we go. Okay, we have a new concept level. And we have a level 18 here. The reason why we want to make a duplicate before we change the level is because it's very easy to grab an old level, start making changes, and then you find out that you have ruined one of your previous level which you were happy with. The other reason, and this is a very good reason, to make a duplicate of the map itself is because of the way that Unity imports the image data. So if you select an image here, there's a few things going on here, and when you import an image to Unity, by default Unity is going to set the image to be a texture. But since we are reading pixels from the image, we need a little bit more than that. So we need to set the image to be advanced, we need to make read and write enabled, and we need to turn off if and hit apply. But if you just make a duplicate of a previous if you make a duplicate of a previous map, you don't actually need to worry about that. Another thing here to keep in mind is when you're working with a level in Photoshop, what you want to do when you've completed your level is to simply hit Command S for saving. If you, for example, are working with more than one layer and make changes here and try to save that, Photoshop is going to try and save the map as a PSD file. And even if you change the format here to PNG, which is the same format as the other maps in the game, you're going to have to redo the import settings. However, once you're done editing your level, and if you use layer, which is fine, you can simply make flatten image. And if you flatten the image, you again will have access to just hitting Command S for saving. And again, you don't need to deal with the import settings. The second thing, and this is dealing with the level sequences themselves, I'm going to have to show you how the level generator works. And this is actually the only component which you need to really address here in the hierarchy. Don't fiddle around with HUD. HUDs are a world of pain, and unless you want to sit down with a calculator and spend a long time working on that, I suggest just leave them alone. Okay, so level generator. This is essentially the game's way of talking with the assets we add to the game. I'm just going to collapse this folder here so it's a bit easier to overlook. So the script's level generator is asking for a wall cube, so we give the script here a wall cube. The script is also asking for a monster, we give it a monster prefab, and so on. We could, for example, say, okay, the game is asking for a wall cube, let's give it a monster instead. And if we hit the play now, that's what happens. That's really cool. So you can also use this game to make art. I wonder if I can... No. Okay, let's give the game a wall cube instead. Alright, that's a bit off topic. What you want to looking at here is the levels here. So the game, again, the script is asking for levels, or rather things to put inside an array, if you want to be technical. And we attach the levels here. So we want to add a new level. We made a level 18. We make the size of these a little bit longer, 18. Now we just want to make sure here, I don't think I've actually attached the concept map to this prefab here yet. So we're going to select that, I'll jump in here, and we're going to attach that concept level. You remember what the concept level looked like? I'm just going to have a look at it here again. That's the concept level. It's a masterpiece. Let's go back. So level 18 is now taking the concept level, and we go back to level generator, and we're going to attach level 18 here to the end of the sequence. And we hit play. Okay, this is our first level again. Now a new level has been attached to the end of the sequence, and you can jump there fast by hitting the N button, which will jump levels. or you can hit the P button for previous. And if we go previous from the first level, we would automatically jump to the last level. So we hit previous here, and this is the level we made. So that's how you make level sequences, and you can, at this point, pretty much create your own game out of our little engine. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about here, and this is the point that I really want to stress. Being able to work with balancing and changing things up quickly is really important. In the end, the content and how that content is streamlined to the player is going to determine how good the game is. Having these sort of variables easily available, where you can change it on a button click, makes it a really powerful tool in working and making the best content. This is only half the story. So the way I'm working with it here is I'm making a level, and I'm trying to find fun. Sorry. I try out a concept. I make a map, and then I go into Unity and I change the settings up and down, and I balance it to a skill level that I myself think is interesting to play. And this is really important, that you are not going to be the player. You as a designer are not the player. So in order to make a really fantastic game, you're going to have to get access to people to come sit down and play your game. And ideally you want these people to be, you want to be working with new people every time, because otherwise the opinion gets biased. And ideally you want these players you test with to be brutally honest with you. Testing with parents is a bad idea, for example, because they will tell you that, oh, you're doing a fantastic job, this is really fun. And they're lying. They're lying to you. So you want to find friends that are brutally honest. And on top of all of this, you have to realize that you can't actually always listen to what they say. You have to really look at what they're doing. Valve, for example, has these really cool tools they work with, where they shoot infrared on the player's eyes, so they can actually see where the player is looking in the level. And they have these really cool test labs where they measure their blood pressure, and they see how much they're sweating, etc. And they're all. There's a fantastic talk about this at the GDC Vault, where you can learn more about it. But they really believe in playtesting and the scientific process behind it. And as a result, you can see that their games have been really good. And that concludes everything here I wanted to show you and teach you about this game I made. I wish you luck in creating your content for the game, and I hope you find some of the design principles here I talked about interesting, something that you consider when you make your own games. Thank you so much for watching. Oh yeah, one thing. If you want more video tutorials like this, send me a tweet and let me know that you like this, and I'll see if I can do more in the future. Thank you. Stop, boys.